After we sequenced the human genome, we learned something sort of creepy. Around 8% of all of our genes are viral in origin. This is true for all humanity, which tells us that those viral genes predate our species. In fact, most of this viral DNA is likely hundreds of millions of years old, extremely ancient. Now, viruses only contain small amounts of DNA. So in order to have 8% of our genome be composed of viral DNA, in reality, what's happened over incredibly long periods of time is duplications have occurred. A duplication is when a specific sequence of genes gets copied an extra time, or during a process called crossing over, is unequally shared, and then extra copies are inherited. So the original DNA injections from viruses were far less than the number of base pairs, which add up to the 8% in our genome, but they've been copied over hundreds of millions of years to accumulate to what we have today. So this means that many of these viral genes are duplicated anywhere from dozens to tens of thousands of times. Now, viruses inject DNA into their hosts so that the host will make copies of the virus. The virus DNA or RNA hijacks the cellular machinery, especially ribosomes, and creates new viruses. Now, humans don't make viruses out of our DNA, so the vast majority of these viral genes are defunct. They've accumulated small mutations, and they no longer really function. But what I learned today is in 2006, a virologist took a specific sequence of DNA that we know comes from a virus that has many, many copies. And he looked at all the copies, and he compared the subtle mutations, the subtle differences between each of the many different strands, and compared which bases were similar. In this way, the virologist was able to determine what was the original functional sequence of nucleotides. And in doing so, this scientist was able to resurrect the virus. He created, Jurassic Park style, created a sequence of DNA that's been extinct for who knows how many millions of years, and it was functional. He could inject it into various different species, mice, even human cells, not humans, but cells in a lab, and the virus successfully infected them and made copies. Seems a bit like, the evil scientist kind of thing, but knowledge is knowledge. So that's what I learned today. Thanks for watching.